come. Chords and Coffee number 45. Take you a quick drink. You ever go to the music store? I go to the music store a lot. In fact, I work at one. I don't know if you know that by now. If you just landed on Chords and Coffee for your first time, my name is Nate. Hello. And I work in a music store. Hi, guys. Hi, Nate. I work in a music store. I love it. And one of the things I love about it is that you're sort of living in this stew of creative cacophony, as well as folks trying to get stuff fixed. It's just it's an intersection. It's a crossroads, if you will, of musical passions and all different walks of life from all different perspectives. I mean, you've got people been playing forever. You've got folks that are just getting started, and you also have folks that are supporting a kid or a spouse or a loved one or a friend in their musical endeavors, and you all meet them right there at the music store. And one of the things I wanted to encourage you with this morning is my favorite thing. I mean, I'm thinking it's probably not, well, if it's not my favorite, top five is when total strangers come together and they meet playing music. How cool is that? If you've never had that experience, I want to give that to you. I want to give that to you this morning. So I want to encourage you, first of all, why does music exist? What do you think? What's your answer? Why is music being created? Comment below. I'm going to wait because I'm going to tell you why I think. In fact, I'm going to take a little drink here. Why was music created? And yes, I said created. Don't get mad at me. That's just the way I feel about it. I'll tell you. I really think music exists to bring us together. It's to bring mankind together. It's to bring humanity together. And then after that, I think there's a whole other discussion about music being a language and a way that we can reach out and reach upward. But first of all, think about this. Think about all of the ideologies, all of the myriad of ways that each one of us see the world, and how you can stand shoulder to shoulder with a total stranger at a concert, or in this case, be in a music store playing some music and have a complete and total stranger start playing along, and all the things that we would never agree upon don't even surface because we agree upon these chord changes, and we agree upon this rhythm. And it's an unspoken alignment that can happen like that. And it can sound beautiful. And, hallelujah. What a great thing, right? And it's also just a way for us to connect on an emotional and spiritual level without having to be encumbered with, everything from worldview to ideology to doctrine and all that. So not trying to get too deep on you, but if you know me by now, it don't take me long to get there. That being said, what I wanted to do this morning was encourage you and give you some tools to help you the next time you go in a music store, and also just some tools to help you make other folks sound better. I will tell you, I have become, and I'm still working on this. But I have become a better soloist the more that I have elected to pursue becoming the best accompanist that I can be. So let's dive into that a little bit. A lot of coffee drinking this morning. Hey, got my yard working clothes on. Bought this shirt from Walmart for $8, and it's probably $18 now. Anyway, Lord help us. We'll get through it. Got the old PRS out this morning. Sometimes if you ever feel stuck in a rut, and look, I do sometimes. I get like anybody else bored with the stuff that I do. If you ever feel stuck in a rut and you have the luxury, the blessing, the opportunity to have multiple guitars, sometimes just break out the other guitar. It'll start to pull other things out of you. Even if that is break out the acoustic or break out that Strat if you're a Tele guy or whatever, right? So I got the old PRS out here just to see if it can coax some other creative juices out of me. So when you're at the music store or you're at the jam, the open mic night, most of the time, sort of the the most common thread that we have is going to be some sort of blues thing, right? And so I wanted to show you this little turnaround that I learned forever ago. If you watched any of these Chords and Coffees before, we've talked a lot about this kind of stuff, but let me give you this one specifically. So tune normal, we're in the key of A, we're doing blues in A, but you can do this turnaround anywhere. I'm just choosing A for now. This little maneuver here, in fact, I learned this was like I think it's a Joe Pass turnaround or a Joe Pass-esque turnaround that I learned from or ripped out of the pages of some old Guitar for the Practicing Musician or Guitar Player or Guitar World, one of them guitar magazines. I used to get those all the time. Comment below if you used to love going to the grocery store and looking for the guitar magazine or going to, Barnes & Noble or whatever, if you still do that. And this is pre-internet, so this is, all you had. So, anyway, index finger, 2nd fret, B string. Pinky, 5th fret of the D. And I'm only playing the B and the D. Right now I got a little slap back on, a little compression on. SP compressor from Exotic and the Boss Wazacraft slapback. Playing through the deluxe reverb with a skosh of verb. So, index finger, B string, 2nd fret, pinky, D string, 5th fret. That's the first grip. It's like an A7 thing. The next maneuver here, you recognize this shape. This is going to be middle finger on the 3rd fret of the B, ring finger on the 4th fret of the D. So you got... Okay, so then the next one, that's that. And then this guy here where you've got your index finger on the D string, 3rd fret. Pinky is on the B string again on the 4th fret. So one more time. With me? Sounds like crap so far, Nate. Well, let's keep going. Then to this guy, So what happens is that these first two maneuvers are just to get you to this E octave. So now we're on index finger on the 2nd fret of the D, pinky finger on the 5th fret of the B. So one more time. This is all just D string and B string. Pinky on the D string, 5th fret, index finger on the 2nd of the B. And then ring finger on the 4th fret of the D, middle finger on the 3rd fret of the B, index finger on the 3rd fret of the D, pinky on the 4th fret of the B, and then index finger on the 2nd fret of the D, pinky on the 5th fret of the B. Then this move sort of feels like kind of a weird blackbird maneuver. So you got your middle finger on the A string of the 5th fret, and then your index finger is on the high E of the 4th fret. And then a little bit of a Bach maneuver now that I think about it. And then your index finger is on the A string of the 4th fret. Ring finger is on the 5th fret of the high E. So, you with me? One more time because I messed up. And then this. Yes! Index finger on the 4th or the 5th fret of the D. Middle finger on the 6th fret of the G. And then your middle finger or your ring finger is on the 7th fret of the B. And then pinky is on the 8th fret of the high E. And so it's literally just like almost like a stair step. You know how you do like a major 7, but this is opposite of that. And by itself, it sounds quite repulsive. However, in context, it's kind of cool. Whoop. from here, just so we're gonna kind of slide back from this E flat to this E flat 9 to a D9, right? And that's just gonna be middle finger on the 5th fret of the A, index finger on the 4th fret of the D, and then ring finger is laying on the G, B, and high E strings. And what I'm doing is I'm just sliding that up from E flat down to D, right? So starting on the 6th down to the 5th, just slide that whole sheboing. Make sense? And then from the D9 up to E chromatically, so that just means, right? So one more time. Right? And then up from D9 to E9, and then what is that? Well, that's pinky on the B string of the 10th fret, holding that A down, right? And then ring finger on the A string of the 10th fret, and then skipping the D, and then on the G of the 9th fret, and then keep your pinky where he's at, and then you're going to move these two guys. This is going to be on the 9th fret, so I change my fingers. I get my index finger involved. I put my index finger on the 8th fret of the G, and then middle fingers on the 9th fret of the A, and then slide that down a half step, so where your index finger is on the 7th fret, and your pinky still hasn't moved. He's on the 10th fret of the B. Index finger is on the 7th fret, and then middle finger is on the 8th fret now, and then the super stretch. And then slide it where your index finger is on the 6th fret of the G, and then your middle finger is on the 7th fret of the A. So one more time. Index finger doing nothing at this point. You've got your middle finger on the G string of the 9th fret, and your ring finger is on the 10th fret of the A. Now index finger gets involved on the 8th fret of the G, and then middle finger on the 9th fret of the A. And then scoot it down a half step. Index finger is on the 7th fret of the G, and then 8th fret, middle finger of the A, and then index finger is on the 6th fret of the G, skipping the D, middle finger is on the 7th fret of the A. So that whole thing is... And I do this little shake when I go... I would encourage you just to practice that vibrato. It's good for your finger strength, is to shake the snot out of the chord every so often. Tell that chord to clean his room. And then at the intro, I did this little thing here where basically I'm making a 6/9 chord. You ever see those? So in this case, it's going to be pinky on the high E string, 5th fret, ring finger, B string, 5th fret. And then the way I'm doing this is I've got my index finger laying on the D and the G of the 4th fret. And then these guys, and then your middle finger is going to cross over and hit that low A on the 5th fret of the A. Of the E, sorry. And so there's the chord, and then you take your, I use my pick a lot of times, but you don't have to. You can just do this, where you're going to actually pick with your thumb and then take your index finger and put it right hovering over the 5th fret of the high E, 5th fret of the B, and then I'm saying 5th fret, I mean 15th fret, sorry. 15th fret. 17th fret of the high E, 17th fret of the B, 16th of the G, 16th of the D, right? And if you can kind of mix that up and like do some kind of Lenny Bro stuff with that, that's really cool. All right, Nate, why did you take almost 15 minutes to show us that? Because that's a good little turnaround to use when you're playing some blues with somebody and you're just trying to make something happen. You know, if you told someone, if they weren't sure what to play and you just said, hey man, or hey lady, play, F sharp minor pentatonic or A major pentatonic, depending on how they think about it, right? Or you might even just say, hey, go between F sharp minor pentatonic and then A minor pentatonic over a blues thing. Remember when we did this? Somebody comment below which Chords and Coffee this is. And if nobody does, I'll go find it and I'll put the episode number. So this kind of blues thing, right? Just playing that sort of stuff. And then when you get to the end of it, it feels like the big final ending, the big closer, the big grand finale of a thing. But it's great to have something like that in your wheelhouse. You ought to have multiple somethings like that. But maybe this is, the first one. So there you go. And here's one more idea before we go here. Sometimes when you're playing this kind of stuff and you need a cool turnaround, you can go to this. Da, 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 da. So what did I do? I went from A down to F sharp. And the reason that works, so F sharp, just regular, make an A7 with the bar chord, so index finger straight across the 5th fret, and then ring finger on the 7th fret of the A, leave the D to be held down by this, so D is 5th fret, and then middle finger is on the 6th fret of the G, and then if you want to go for extra, put your pinky on the 8th fret of the B, and then just slide that whole sheboing. And I don't like it with the pinky. I just would do this. Or down to, slide this whole sheboing down to the 2nd fret on the F sharp. And you could even go from this straight to like an E7 sharp 9 kind of thing, or an E7 thing. But that little walk down I did from that A7, then you go to a B, like a B9, or we've talked about these chords before. This is kind of a B, like a B7 sus4 or a B11 kind of thing, where you've got middle finger on the 7th fret of the low E, skipping the D, ring finger on the 7th fret of the D, woo, and then pinky on the G string of the 8th fret, and then index finger on the 5th fret of the of the B string, sorry. And then, let's see. That feels good. You ever do that with your 9 chords? So if you're playing like an E9 chord, so middle finger on the 7th fret of the A, index finger on the 6th fret of the D, and then your ring finger is laying across the G, the B, and the high E, and then take your pinky, and you can hit that C sharp on the 9th fret of the high E like that, or you can hit all 3 of them. Resolve that to an A. The next time you're at the store or any music store, it doesn't have to be a Palen Music Center, anywhere that you go where there's folks, or even like, if you're, a great way I think to audition, somebody, you might want to be in a band with, is just play like a spontaneous blues thing. Because really what you find out is how someone accompanies you really says a lot about their personality. Now, caveat, if they're just learning and they don't have the skills built up yet to help support someone, that's an entirely different deal altogether. I mean, you can't, put a rock on top of a toothpick. If you're still growing and you're still trying to get, some integrity in your playing, or, the ability for someone to lean on you, that's understandable and that's fine. You're still learning how to operate this, right? And that's okay. But in that case, like, then you should be playing the lead lines, the single note stuff, and have the person who's more experienced playing the accompaniment. That's right. A lot of times, like especially when I was coming up, when I was a kid, I always thought, well, the lead player must be the better guitar player in the band. Not necessarily true, friends, because lead single note activity, melodic stuff, in my personal opinion, is a lot easier to fake than rhythm chops. I mean, because at the end of the day, you know, I know a lot of players, and I used to be one, where I would sit around and just, practice as much, oodly stuff as I could, right? And then I only had it in one tempo, in one key usually, and it was very relegated to this sort of, proving myself, show off kind of moment, right? I didn't have it all up and down the neck. I'm not down on shredders. I love like Guthrie Govan, and there's a lot of Steve Vai stuff I like, and Eric Johnson. Get out of here. I love that guy, and I'm actually going to go see Joe Bonamassa here pretty soon when he comes to town. So it's, I love guys who can really rip it and play like that. But I also, more so, I should say, love folks who can really sing with the instrument and who can play in such a way that is not just melodic but tells a story. And one of the best ways to practice that is to be the kind of person who can provide a bedrock foundation for somebody to play. And how can you do that? Well, next time you're in a music store, sit down and see if you can just play with somebody. See if you can make a little blues and A last. When they start playing that, back your volume down off a little bit. Truly undergird them and support them and give them a canvas to paint on. It's a lot of fun, and also there's something really magical about knowing that you've helped somebody shine. So I hope that encourages somebody out there. I really enjoy you watching and your comments, and it means everything to me. And I especially love it when you guys start conversing back and forth in the comments and the live feed. So if you have any suggestions for future episodes, please comment below. Leave all that information there. I'm always looking for ideas, and I appreciate you. That's one way that we can accompany each other. So thank you again for watching Chords and Coffee, and we'll see you next week.